right. Well, welcome and hello, everyone. We've got about 4 or 5 minutes until 1 o'clock, and we're not going to start anything actually until we get there. My name is Chris. Debbie is also on the line. Be chiming in here and there. And are we coming through okay, folks? Can you hear us? If you could drop a message in the chat button for us, that would be super helpful.
So I just sent a little message to everyone because it's hilarious that Chris only recognized himself as Chris because he's one of how many Chris's at My Real Source Trainers?
Oh, about half a dozen, but I figured, if they just say Chris in the training office when we get done with this COVID-19, they got a 1 in 4 chance of being right, or even better odds than that, right? They got a better name of yelling Chris and getting a response at My Real Source than they do of winning the lotto. Oh.
Oh, great. Wynn can hear me.
Okay,
and Michelle can hear us. Fantastic.
Oh, excellent. 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 That will make life go much easier.
Now, I don't have any polls to launch on this webinar. I am still in the process of creating that. Usually all of our classes are hands-on and they're just interactive. We don't have any set questions that we ask along the way. I mean, I'm sure my instructors do, but as we are discovering our new platform of education, that's exactly what it is. We're discovering it, all the new stuff we can do, like launching a poll and asking you guys of, a few set questions. So I'm learning at the same time you guys are.
Fantastic. We've only got just a few folks online, it looks like, attendees.
I think there were
Ashley are
12.
also here. Yeah.
No, there were how many? 14 registered for today.
Yeah. So we're missing about 10. So I'll go ahead and give my clock says we got about 12:53 minutes till 1. So if anyone wants to get a last minute snack break and coffee refill or whatever it is, change your from your morning slippers to your afternoon slippers. So I had a friend call me the other day, Debbie. She's like, Chris, you better try to put on your slacks and stuff like that, because once it's time to go back to work, sweatpants don't count. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was on a Zoom meeting. It was yesterday. I had a Zoom meeting yesterday, and we had so many folks. I don't know. There must have been a bunch of meetings happening all at the same time, but we kept getting bumped off. And yeah, so I think,
yes,
I think a lot of these platforms are having that same issue. Yeah, I was also, Debbie, really relieved to find out that my collab center glitch was not just me and my settings, that it extended well beyond me. It sounded like it affected quite a few people in Black Knight in general.
Yep, the joys of live classes. Earlier we held the mobile agent class and Franny was showing the transaction desk app. It froze up on her.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yep.
So, yeah, and you and I have another meeting promptly at 2, right? So we probably won't run long today?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. So I will, I'll talk super fast. And so people can replay the, they can replay the webinar at, 3/4 speed. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I figured with it being a webinar, we wouldn't go the full hour and a half. So we would, and that's usually how long the MarketStats class is, but as a webinar, you're not stopping to help people and show and point and things like that. So it's going to win. That's often.
No, but I am a green wet behind the ears presenter here on webinar. So you know, it may take me a little longer than an hour. So, but
So Win just let me know. She says, okay, she has her coffee and a snack. She's ready to roll.
all right, yeah, snacks. Yeah, whoever's got snacks and shows up to class with them usually becomes my best friend. I'll tell you.
All right, so gang, as Chris will be teaching today, I'll be behind the scenes doing the chats. So if you have questions, I will answer those. And if it's something that you want me to bring to Chris's attention, I certainly will. I am not afraid to interrupt.
Very good. I hope at this moment, we still got a few folks that are waiting to log on. We're almost at the 14. It looks like we're right about there, but I'm hoping, can everyone see my screen logged into Paragon? Is that showing through?
Yes, it is.
Fantastic. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate you responding. Wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna give it, we got about, okay, you know what? We're right at 1 o'clock, so sounds like we'll get started. So welcome everyone to MarketStats. I probably will not follow your outline bullet by bullet. And if you're wondering where the outline is, it would be under the handouts. And if you're struggling to find that, or you want to find handouts from anything else that we have here at Am I Real Source, you can go to the Resources tab. Come on, Resources tab. There we go. Resources tab. I'm sorry, I'm lying. I'm lying to you. I'm lying to you. I'm lying to you. I need to probably exit full screen mode. Bear with me just one moment, folks. I want you to see. There we go. Hopefully that's a slightly better view for you. And I think I need to minimize my GoToMeeting box just to be able to get out of the way. If we go to right here to MLS documents near the top of the page, that's where you will see the Am I Real Source education folder. And that is where we have all of our cheat sheets and handouts and follow-alongs for everything that we offer. And it's taken a little while to load, but you can see that there's 69 files and it has a search function for you. So if you want to follow along on something later on or something different and you just want a quick reference, that's exactly where you would go to find it. So as it relates to MarketStats, since that's what we're here for, under the resources at our icons here, I'm just going to expand that, and directly in the center, second option down, is MarketStats. I'm going to click on that and open it up, and voila, there we are. I'm going to see if I can, that makes a difference for us. It does not for me. There we go. Now I can see a little more of my screen. Okay. The first thing I want to point out is you will notice that I have a wonderful ugly mugshot of myself that we hang up around the house for our rodent control. And the way I was able to upload that into MarketStats was through the profile button here near the top, just next to my picture. If you're looking for where that is, it's right here. If you click on profile, if you're able to follow along, this is what will pop up. I do highly recommend that you add a professional shot that you want to use that will be part of your branding, because near the end, I want to show you how to use some of these tools for lead generation for both buyers and sellers. So I prefer to use a photo. I recommend using a photo that's going to be part of your branding. As an advanced strategy, something to know, you can change this picture as many times as you need. So if you have multiple business pages on Facebook and you have some neighborhood branding that you do, you, with the conversations of your broker, can change that, do some marketing, and keep your online thematic presence consistent across the various platforms upon which you market for maybe different communities, all pointing back to you and your broker. Very simple. You just upload an image, and the system will automatically resize it for its requirements. It really is plug and play, super, super simple. As you scroll down the page, you'll see the basic broker agent information as well as your office information. That way we are fully compliant with licensing law. We have your information as well as the broker, because that's what we need to do. Just don't forget, after going through all of that information and putting it in there, to say click on update, which is save. Nothing worse than going through, finding all your information, taking the time to plug it all in there, and it not be there. If you want to change any of the information that is in here, because you'll notice it automatically defaults to your MLS profile, just simply uncheck the box. You can see that I have mine unchecked for my professional title. Simply do that, type in the information that you want. Be sure again to click update, and you'll definitely be much happier once that is all complete. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you. We're breezing right along. We're well going to be under 90 minutes. The second thing I would like to show you is the fast stats. You'll see the fast stats along this top bar here. And this is where we start getting into some, so if you click on that button, you'll see this is where we start getting into some of the really good information that you can start summarizing or expanding as you see fit. I'm going to start at the bottom, which is the monthly data sheet. And you'll notice that it is for the entire MLS area that we use here. The system automatically defaults to the most recent report. You can see that in the drop-down menu on the left-hand side of our screen here. And if you just click View Report, it will open up a brand new tab and give you a complete summary of all the areas that we cover, everything from sales to on-market listings, average days on market. And again, it breaks it down countywide, but it is some good information if you're looking for a good 10,000 foot flyover view of just some really quick information that you want to have. I particularly like using this information because I will look at it maybe on a county level and then be able to use that information for my buyers or sellers depending on the scenario. But I can start with good county level information here. I'm simply going to close this tab as soon as my pointer works with me. I'm just simply going to close this tab and go back to fast stats. Monthly indicators is also for the entire area. The system again defaults to the most recent. And if I wanted to do a historical comparison, I can simply do that. You'll see all the reports that are going back as far as June of 2016. If I click on the report, it breaks the information, again, from the entire MLS down with some quick facts that you can very easily screenshot or save, or maybe even pull a page out of this and share it if that's what you want to do. But it kind of gives you some comparisons year to date. It's drilling down and getting a little more closer into some very relevant information, comparing residential to the condo market, pluses and minuses and things of that nature. And it is a pretty lengthy report. You can see that there's 14 pages. I'm just going to scroll pretty quick, but it's got some nice graphs and visual things. Something that I have done quite often is I will come into these reports here on the indicators, and I will snap screenshots of just little graphs. So what I would do is just right straight from my laptop. My highlighter spotlight is not working here. Oh no. I'll try this. I would just screenshot this entire graph from this report. Then what I would do is I would simply go back for a historical view to something, well, we're in March, so I could go back to 2019, view report, and I will get the same thing, and I can go find the exact same graph, screenshot. Now I have a comparison side by side of what's going on year to date. And it's just a nice visual graph, and I can share those things on my marketing material. I'm going to close this tab as well. Going back to Fast Stats, now I can go to my local market updates, and I can simply select a county and look at something county-wide as compared to the entire MLS area. I can just select any of my counties and look at it individually. I can also, by going to the far left side of my screen, do a drop down and just choose an area. Now I will scroll down to Detroit here for just a moment. There is something I want to point out, and it'll make sense as we move forward. Look at Detroit, for example. I could do all of Detroit, but what if I only work in a specific area of Detroit? You notice that we
Hey,
got these
Curtis,
little, yes, ma'am.
just a quick note that we cannot see the drop-down selections.
Oh,
I know what
oh,
your mouse is doing, and I know what you're
yeah,
talking about. So
I
you're
see
talking about
that.
all the different areas of Detroit, right?
Yeah, I am, and that is a bummer. That is a bummer. You can't see the drop down.
That is
Oh,
odd.
okay, all right. Well,
Sorry to kill your thought
that's
on that, but it was a great idea.
no, you're right. But I
You don't have
just
the visual.
the takeaway from that is, if you select an area, you can go by municipality. Using Detroit as an example, um, you may not want all of the municipality in our larger municipalities. So pay attention to the area. Zip code could be a good feature, things of that nature. So, okay. But you also have the ability to go back quite a bit. So I'm sorry that you don't see those there. So now what I'd like to show you is, what if you're going on a listing appointment, or what if you want to set up a farm area and keep track of some various statisticals in a particular farm? I hope I'll go to highlighter. If you're able to click on my areas, that's where we're going next. This is where you'll see the mapping feature that works an awful lot like Paragon. And as I scroll down the page, you'll see that you can also do a map view with the little street view with our little icon there, and you can zoom the map. Once you start using this feature, let's hope this drop down menu works. Oh, look at that. You'll see that you start getting some frequently used areas from your use of this map. Just like in Paragon's mapping feature, you can simply type in a location. For today's illustrations, I'm going to go to Clawson, Michigan. So let's just pretend we have a client that lives at 641 North Rochester Road. I simply click on the little search magnifying glass to the right of the address bar, and voila, a nice little pin drops. I am going to pretend for today's example that we have a buyer that works right here, and they don't want to live very far away. In fact, they're what we refer to as a Clawsonite. I am not one of those. I grew up in Clawson, graduated from Clawson, and I left Clawson. If I was a true Clawsonite, I'd still be living there and probably working at 641 North Rochester Road. I broke the mold. Okay, you'll see you have the ability to zoom in, and we have the ability to draw. And these features work very similar to what we're accustomed to in Paragon. I'm going to click on the draw polygon, and this person wants to live, come on, pointer, there we go. This person wants to live over here near Clawson Park. So I'm going to highlight this area simply by just drawing a polygon, making a click at each corner to just highlight the subdivision that they want to live in. And just like in Paragon, I need to click the save button, and voila. You'll see that you have the ability to replace your existing area. I am, for today's demonstration, going to replace, and I could say use class demo 3. Do you see that? Do you see that drop down? I hope.
Sorry, we don't
You do
see that
not.
drop
You do
down.
not see that drop down. Okay, so we're not going to go there. Just know in the future, because I'm going to reference this again here in a few minutes as we get into filtering our data. As you begin to use this mapping feature and you store different areas, if you don't come in here, MarketStats won't forget, but it will archive what it is. So it won't be an active area. Your saves will be categorized into two things. So if you're a note taker, this is a good place to take notes. Your maps will be saved as active areas, or they'll be saved as archived. So you will want to make sure when you get into MarketStats and trying to crunch numbers, and I'll show you where this is important here in a few minutes, you will want to make sure that your area is active. So if it's not, here's what you do. You come into My Areas, you draw out your farm on the map, and you replace your existing area with one of your archived saves, and it will automatically make your archived map a active area. And that's exactly what we want to do. But for today's demonstration, we're just going to call this class demo 9. So we can easily find it later. That's what I'm going to call it. You can call it whatever you like, just don't forget what it is so we can easily find it. I'm calling it class demo 9, and I'm going to click save. And we should have a new screen if you're following along, and you can see exactly how large we are because it tells you that we have 1 square mile and roughly around 225 listings plus 2,000, and you have two options. You can see the stats or go back to the map. I typically go back to the map. That's normally what I will do. And there is a reason for that, and I will show you what that is in just a moment. So we've saved. I need to get this stuff out of your way. There we go. So now we're back at our map. Now where I'd like to go is probably what most of us would see, which is go to Info Sparks right here. If we just click on that, that will take you exactly to where we're going. Yay! Okay. The reason I did not want to go straight to here from our mapping feature is it would have changed from entire MLS. There's a drop-down menu here, and when you click on it, it shows up with My Areas. Now, if I click My Areas, you can see that I have class demo 9. If I had clicked on go to the information, go crunch the data, go see the stats, this is what we would have seen. And that's not bad, except we have the ability to add areas. And if I click on the Add Area button, it just goes ahead and we can go up to 4. You can compare up to 4 areas. And that's great. But there's a tool here that I want to show you, which is this little filter button. If I click on that filter button, you'll see that it changes to 2 little funnels. And if I click on it again, it goes back to just basically 1 funnel. What that means is when it's in the 1 funnel form like it is right now, the very last area that we have open, the very last tab that we have open, this one right here, whatever data filters down here, in here, and here, or carrying on further, if it didn't all fit on one screen, it would carry on further, which it will. There we go, see? It would remember all of this criteria and apply it from here going backwards in that direction. So that would mean tab number 1, tab number 2, and you can go up to 4 tabs, would remember this last tab, number 3. If I click on the filter one more time and break it out, then I could do some extra manipulating, and that's going to be a little bit beyond the scope of the class, but I wanted you to see that there is a way to only have to type the information in one time. There's so many times that people have called me from my office and said, look, I'm not getting the right information. I know there's an easier way, and I'm getting so tired of selecting the property type 4 times or the bedrooms 4 times. And it's that little funnel button right there. Right next to this funnel button is a question mark. And when you click on the question mark, it tells you everything that's available on the screen. And then if that gets really busy for you, just click the question mark again and it all disappears. So that's what I'd like to show you. That's now, why did I want to show you this? Here's the answer. If I'm trying to compare my area, that little area on the map that I highlighted for my buyer, I only want to type the information in one time. I'm just lazy that way. So that's why I don't like it being at the front of the line. I like it being at the back so that it controls all of my filters. For that, controls everything in front of it. So here's how I personally would use this for a buyer consultation. This is what I would do. I would go to my entire area. I would try, you can even type in here. Oh, it's not even letting me do that. I can clear that, go to entire MLS. If I click an area, I don't need to look at the entire MLS anymore. I can look at it on a county level. And you'll see that the county level drops down. Now I can start typing in Oakland and voila, Oakland County shows up. And you'll notice that the graph beneath us is starting to change. It's starting to evaluate the numbers as we go based on what we've selected, which currently what we have selected is the sales price down here in the bottom left corner of my screen. Okay. So I've gone from an entirely large area. Now I'm working my way down. Now I'd kind of like to maybe look at just the area. I'm hoping, yes, great. So now you can see the areas that kind of tie into our Paragon, but we're looking at Clawson. Come on, there we go, Clawson, there we go. Automatically populates, don't even have to type the whole thing, there we go. If you know the zip code of the specific area you're looking for, you can do that as well. And this is why the mapping feature is so unique and so powerful, because we know that some of our neighborhoods can truly be a block by block experience. My buyer wants to live in a very specific area. All I have to do is click on the My Areas part of the filter, and there's her area, and she's automatically added to our map down below. So am I really using this as a buyer tool? Absolutely I am. Can I use it as a seller tool to help shape listing expectations? I absolutely can. I'm not using it for a CMA, but I can do it to help shape expectations. But back to our buyer, I now need to start making sure that I'm comparing apples to apples for everything that my buyer is looking for. So on the very next level down, you'll see that I've got the price range. Well, my buyer is only approved, she doesn't want is only approved for about 150 to 188. The minute I select her price range, it changes the price range. It looks for the data in that price range from just her little local neighborhood all the way across the entire MLS. So I can start shaping how much she can expect. We're looking only at residential properties. She's really not worried about size. I mean, bigger is better, but let's just shape expectations and see what's going on. But we know we definitely want 3 bedrooms. And you'll see every time we select something, the map starts waiting. Clawson has no waterfront, but the county, because remember, we're looking at county in tab number 2, does. So I need to make sure that I select non-waterfront in order to help keep our data consistent. Sizes, well, that area of Clawson pretty much is postage stamp, so I shouldn't be looking at all acreage. I need to select a 1/4 acre or less, because that would be the area in which she's looking. And that area does not have a lot of new construction. It's all previously owned. So now we've created all of our parameters. We've got everything looking at apples and oranges. And we have this amazing map here at the bottom that I can barely see. So I am going to click on a little button here. I'm going to show you where it is. Right there. If we click on that, you'll notice that our viewing area gets larger, just like that. Now I can see a little bit better. So now I can see my map. On the far right hand of the screen, I can see a nice little summary area right here, comparing all 4 lines, and a summary area right down here that will print out on all of my information. So I don't have to try to remember, what did this graph mean? What did that graph mean? What was I looking at here? It prints out. I like that. If I want a larger map to look at, all I have to do is click on that little arrow right there, and my viewing area will go ahead and get a little larger, making my life a little easier. There we go. Now my aging eyes are a little bit happier. If I want to bring it back, I simply just click on the arrow that turned around backwards and it comes back. Now, changing my screen around here just a little bit on me so I can see where I'm trying to go. There we go. Okay. This is starting to look a little busy of a map for me. One of the things I don't like is the lines, they're just all over. I don't know exactly what that means. If I go ahead and click on the button that says line right here, that will change how I'm looking at things, and I can switch to bar graph. Oh, now this makes a whole lot more sense to me. And this is something to keep in mind. What does everything look like when you're trying to share it and generate leads or shape expectations? If it's an easier visual to follow, people are much easier to come all around to our way of thinking and make our business life a little easier. And the reason for that is not because we're trying to sway opinion. They easily digest the information that we know to be what's going on in the market. I'm going to get rid of some of our drawings there. Okay, so what am I looking at here? We are looking at everything from the entire MLS down to the county level, down to the city level, down to just her subdivision. And you'll notice at the very bottom of the map, or I'm sorry, map, speak correctly, Chris, down here at the bottom of the graph, I'm looking at median. Median and average are not the same thing, but we can use either information to get our point across. And just be careful with that, because we want to, truth in advertising, truth in information. If I change it to an average, it changes the numbers maybe a little bit. Not so much here. You'll see on the far right hand column that's red, the number is 180, 150 is the average sales price. And if I go back to median, it's only 180. Okay, not that big of a difference. But what if I was looking at showings to pending? Would that make a difference, going from median to an average? Not so much, but sometimes it might. So we want to pay attention to that and really be able to articulate what it is that we're showing. So here we're looking at showings per listing. So on a listing side, This is a great complement to a CMA, because now we can say, well, gosh, I've had, um, you know, so many showings, but I haven't really been able to go under contract yet. Well, if the average for the entire city of Clawson, if the average showings per listing is 15 and you've only had 5, well, that might explain it. Maybe you just haven't had enough showings yet. But what's the power of knowing this information, walking in the door to sign a listing agreement and shape those showing expectations? It also could help leverage your conversation for initial pricing analysis. So that's how you change what you're looking for, and that changes. You can change medians. You get a lot of new information. So back to our buyer, homes for sale. If I was to say how many homes are for sale, whoo, it looks like my buyer is going to be waiting a little while and is in a very competitive market. Wow, okay. If there's nothing really available right this second, maybe when something comes up on the market on a Tuesday, we're not going to say to the buyer, don't worry about it, we're available on Thursday or Saturday. We'd be telling the buyer, no, you don't want to wait till Saturday on your day off. You need to go now. Let's go during lunch. Something along those lines. It helps shape those right away so they can see how competitive it is. Because I see on Facebook and a lot of different forums, buyers always complaining, my agent's showing me 100 houses and nothing works. Well, or hasn't shown me anything. Well, this can help alleviate some of those conversations and some of those feelings. Okay, so I promised, how do we start sharing this information? The way we do that is through the print and share button. If I click on the print button, it gives me a preview of exactly what it is we're printing out. And there's that summary that I mentioned. I don't have to try at the very bottom. I don't have to try to remember what it is that I'm looking at. I already know. And this is a great thing to save as a PDF, and I can email it, I can print it, I can pass it out, I can incorporate it into a flyer as a substitute page or any of my marketing material. Very, very simple, very, very straightforward. If I click on the button share, now I have some options. Now I got to figure out what am I doing? I can share this as a PDF and save it as a PDF. Notice that I've got static is what the system automatically defaulted to right up here at the top, static. Funny story, someone called me up. They tried to put this on Facebook because it also defaults to social media. And they called me and said, hey, Chris, I shared this graph about price per square foot in my neighborhood on Facebook, and the information's wrong. Well, okay. And I asked, how long ago did you post this? Oh, about 30 days ago. Okay. That I said, okay, 30 days ago, when you want current information? I said, yes. Well, you do realize basically static means it never changes. It will always be the same sheet of paper all the time. Just because it's on Facebook doesn't mean it's going to change. So unlike my friend, you're going to be super smart and you are going to click and change it to live. And the reason for that is if you wanted to save this and embed it to your social media and you pin it to the top of a Facebook business page, it will always be there. And you can use your graphs, select your material, and you can talk about things for sellers like available inventory is low. Now's the time to list. You have minimal competition in your neighborhood. Or things like buyers, such as, lots of homes for sale in this area. Now's the time to go looking. It's, sort of a buyer's market, your choice, whatever it is that you want to come up with. So this is, make sure if you're going to go on social media and you want it to update on the first of every month automatically, which is sort of plug and play, just make sure you click live and then you can do that. After this, all you do is click share and it gives you your fancy URL. You can click in a new window, get your nice little preview. And you'll notice even from here that it gives you the ability to share this page to your Facebook page. So as a quick example, I could click on Facebook and voila. And my real source has done a really good job of making it as simple as we most possibly can. And I can change it to, I share on my own page that I manage. I can make it a I can, if you got multiple pages, you'll see that. I hope you are seeing these drop downs. I should double check. You are not. Oh, bummer. Okay, so I'm not going to go through that. Just know that it automatically goes to Facebook and it posts up very nicely for you. Okay. Coming back to MarketStats, you can see this. You can also copy and paste this URL and go to Facebook and create a post as well. There's multiple ways to do this. Once you have all your information and you're at this point, you definitely have some more options, such as maybe you have your own website, maybe you have your own blog, and you can just embed this. You can get that embed code and put it in so that it formats nicely on your own website if you like, or CSV. Maybe you've got some data and you just want to grab the raw data and manipulate it your own way, dissect it further, and really get down into what it is that you want to do there. I'm going to close this window. I'm going to get rid of our drawings as well. Okay, there's one more thing, a couple more things I want to show. I'm going to go back to my bar graph button and I'm going to change it back to a line. I want to get something, and as I hover over my lines, you'll see that I have different data points that are showing up. And this data point is in March. This data point is February, and so on. And if you can see that there's buttons doing this on all of the lines, all the way down through this graph, on our end, we can get rolling data points. Very, very nice feature, very quick glance. And we can also select and change how far back in history do we want to go. If you're doing a CMA analysis, maybe you only want to go back to 1 year. If you're looking for some general knowledge breaking into an area and you want some longer historical perspectives, you definitely have some options. The 12-month button tells you, well, that's my, how far back do I want the data to go? Do I want it to go back 12 months for each data point? Can I all the way down to a monthly? Or I can just select something in between. And that is the power of InfoSparks. And I love to leverage it against my areas because I use this to definitely help shape my buyer and seller expectations with my listings and my showings. It's so powerful. Sellers don't get nervous when they've had 6 showings in a quote unquote seller's market, because we saw in one of our graphs, hey, you might take 15 showings. You've only had 5. I know it's a seller's market, but might take 15. And if you have some areas that are really hot, you can see how your little pocket compares, or maybe your neighborhood is slow. It was just a few years ago in Fraser where Fraser was selling pretty darn good. It was very robust, except for one little pocket in the neighborhood, which happened to be located at the corner of 15 and Hayes, because there was a sinkhole at the corner of 15 and Hayes. If you were trying to sell in that area, oh boy, get ready to be on the market for a long time. And the map feature really helped show and compare and contrast that specific scenario and issue with my buyers and sellers alike. Like, well, I haven't been able to get the price I want for my house. Well, you're a little too close to 15 and Hayes. You know, if you were at 13 and 13 and Gratiot, it might be a different story. Those kinds of things. So at this point, I kind of want to pause and ask, does anyone have any questions about MarketStats that you knew you had a question and wanted answered? Or did we go through something a little quick and you want to go back and review it?
I'm not seeing any questions yet, but give them a second to type and we'll see what we got. Well, I have answered a couple, so just so you know.
Okay, all right, very good. Yeah, I saw the question button pop up here and there. I tried to
Yeah,
look at them, but I didn't really see a whole, oh,
yeah,
questions. I
because
can
you're
hear
supposed to be
you.
teaching that, not chatting.
Yeah, I see chat.
I had one that did not have any audio, so I think that's a function of when you log into GoToMeeting that you're supposed to select where you're hearing sound from. Not that it helps her, but I did respond.
Great.
Um,
I don't see though that question. So, thank you for handling that.
Yeah, Wynn wanted to know if there was a webinar on this. One of her agents could not be there. So yes, we are recording this webinar. Give me a day or two to get it edited to trim out any of my ums and stammers to make it sound good. And then we will get it uploaded to our YouTube page.
Okay, very good.
And as you were updating your profile in here, Kim Fagali had just uploaded her headshot to her account as well.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some investors fly in not too long ago. This was, I don't know, what, maybe 6 months ago now, and they really wanted to get into um, knowing an area. They really wanted to be somewhere near about the tech center. They just felt that was a good spot for them to be. And I said, okay, great. And I do quite a bit of work in that area. So it was not super difficult for me to do that. But the point being, I was able to go over everything from percentage of list price to months of supply on inventory to, how much inventory was in the area. And each one of those things I just articulated, I printed one of these for. And it broke all of that down in a nice historical view, and they could see where the dips in time were. They could see the historical trend of, the days on market going down, meaning it's becoming a very competitive market. So their thoughts of giving big, robust discounts were shattered, but their potential growth in equity and rent rates going up, um, those sorts of things. And every single sheet I printed off, by making sure that the profile was completely updated, they were very professional looking. All of my information's right there. They were very impressed with the report that was put together, and it just added to the credibility versus it just being a bunch of big blank space up there. So I did promise that I wanted to show you one more thing. I'm going to make sure, so here I am in MarketStats. Most people do not enjoy reading user manuals. I oftentimes am in that category as well, right there. I will encourage at some point, click the button, watch this 5-minute video. It is gold. It is gold when what you're trying to do may not be in your cheat sheet handout or your additional notes. It's 5 minutes, super thorough, but super easy. Oh my goodness. Well worth the 5 minutes instead of trying to read through all of these categories on the left-hand side of the screen. Um, One of the best videos and I'm so glad that it's just embedded right here. It's one of the best videos regarding this program I've seen. Debbie, has anything come through? Because I'm not seeing questions or chats on my end.
Nope, all of our questions have been answered, so there's nothing new.
Okay, great. So then, moment of truth, Debbie, as the Director of Education, is there anything in here that you saw that maybe we should touch on a little more thoroughly, or something that I may have completely missed?
Ooh, let's see. Oh, I sent you a little note via email. I think I have a great workaround going back to when you were trying to select the different areas of Detroit, because we know we've got them broken down into 13 different areas, I believe.
Hmm.
So if you click, oh, we're in Fast Stats. So if you go over to Fast Stats, and those are the quick, easy ones. Those are I don't want to work too hard to get my information. I
Right.
love this. So click into Wayne County. There you go. And now see the blue area, Detroit?
Yeah.
Go ahead and click into Detroit. So here is where you will see all those different areas. And for me, I like that map representation a little better than the words. Thinking of, okay, Mac Avenue to city limits of, where's that at? So
Yep.
this was a much better representation for me to understand, if that helps.
Yes, that's gold. That is absolute gold right there. Thank you for that. And it gives a really nice workaround for that. Okay, looks like if I copy Lisa has a question. If I copy the link and I have live selected, does this continue to update the data on my social media? I copy the link and I have live selected. Yes, yes, and yes. Yes, exactly. Yes, that you've got it. And so one of the things you will notice is once you have that posted to Facebook, Lisa, you can pin the post to the top. So one of my Facebook pages is for a local community, and I like to keep inventory data on there, and I like to keep such as days on market and price points, right? This is what people care about. Like, hey, what are things selling for? It's pinned right to the top. So my visitors and my followers don't have to scroll and scroll and scroll through my news feed all the time. It's always right there at the top. So that's just a little advanced feature that you could use on Facebook to do that. Boy, this is one of those classes that I really enjoy sitting down with besides people and helping them go through all of the different filters that we have. The ability to compare up to 4 is really good because boy, I really like that the My Area map says here's the subdivision. And yes, you might have heard on CNN that Macomb County is selling at an all-time high, but that may not be true of all pockets. And we know this. We do. But maybe our folks don't because they heard it on CNN. What I so love about MarketStats and being able to print off these graphs is, and even sitting side by side with clients sometimes and doing this live, they're not taking my word for it. I'm not the negative naysayer. The market is. So very good. And Lisa, thank you for that question. It was great. Great question. And I think that's all we've got for MarketStats. Deb, is there anything new, any new news that you got that is noteworthy and worth sharing?
What in this crazy market, what we got going on? Heck yeah, you know it. Okay, so this morning's Zoom meeting with staff at My Real Source. All right, here's the big news. Paragon will have an update to live virtual tours. So when we have the ability to select a showing. So now what we want is the ability to select a virtual showing. So as the listing agent, when you are creating this listing, you have the options of saying virtual showing or a virtual tour, yes or no. And if it's a yes, you'll get a box to put a URL address in there. So you could actually have a link to a video or a virtual showing. Now, in some cases, they will be the exact same thing as your tours or videos that are uploaded into the listing right now. But the thing is, if you use it through showing time, schedule a showing to view the property that way. Showing time will still keep track of those people, quote, viewing the property. So remember what that means. If I'm the listing agent and I've now reduced the price of my property $5,000 and I want to set on an email blast to everybody who's seen the home, it will, even if they saw it virtually, because these virtual showings are going to be around for a while, and it might even be something that sticks with the industry forever. Who knows? So that was topic number 1, that Wednesday, 1 week from tomorrow, which is April 8th, Paragon will release the ability to have that option. We are also working with showing time for, so as the listing agent right now, you could put this virtual showing into the other box. So if you say what kind of showings are allowed on this house, you say other, because nobody's allowed to be traipsing through properties unless you're an appraiser or an inspector at this time. So that was this morning, they were allowed. So if I'm the listing agent, then I'm going to allow virtual showings for my property. I will select other types of showings are allowed. And what I'll do is in the notes, I will put a URL in there that will go to my video. And then of course, I'm going to put a note in there saying, view the video link below in place of an in-person showing. So these are the newest and coolest things that are happening. And of course, those will probably be a go and show type listing. So you're going to want to make sure you remove the lockbox codes out of there, change them to a go and show, and put a video link in there. Now, which leads me to the next class that we're launching this week. So in about 10 minutes, staff has a test webinar going on of our newest class, virtual showings and virtual open houses, how to make yours. So we'll be launching that class Thursday afternoon at 3 o'clock. You should have gotten that information in yesterday's education corner that went out around 11:30. So I have our latest recording for that was the remote and paperless agent. So I've got the video recording in there. And Lisa, I don't think that you're included on that one, so you can always go to our YouTube channel. It has been uploaded there as well. Oh, phew, so I think those are the big gists. So the virtual show.
That's huge.
Yeah, virtual homes, virtual open houses, how to do them. Of course, all the webinars we have 9 webinars for our members and also our vendor members as well this week, including the 2 new ones, that remote and paperless agent, which we had one at 11 a.m. this morning and another one 10 a.m. on Thursday. Of course, we have our Mixing It Up with My Real Source webinar. This week's subject is going to be the virtual showings and open houses. So we'll be debuting that then. So,
okay.
And of course,
Jeff, I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
So when is the next class? When is the next class? And are our webinars going to be, they are updated on our MI Real Source website, correct?
Yeah, so just as you would have scheduled classes before, you can go into the resources icon. However, the shortcut now, because it's going to lead you to the next page, you actually have to register at gotowebinar.com. So there's a calendar on our homepage. And if you're see like Chris on your homepage, you have your broker's information. So if you actually want, you have Paragon still open?
I sure do, and I will go there right now.
Awesome.
You should be able to see that.
So so anybody on the private label MLS, you'll see he has the Real Living Key logo in the upper left. Go ahead and click your home tab. Or icon, sorry, or tab, either way. Okay, so his center page is all about his brokerage. So at the top on the blue bar, he's going to click MLS to see what's going on at our homepage. And then once he's on our homepage, he can scroll down to that calendar in purple at the bottom. And anywhere there's a dot, you'll see classes. Okay, so click that registration link on the right-hand side there, and you'll get right to our classes. And that will be to the, and actually, Chris, you can go ahead and click on that and they'll see how that opens up.
Okay, I can do that.
And
sorry,
there's your
I'm constantly
whole
drawing. I'm constantly drawing on the screen. My my highlighter little spotlight quit working, so I had to start drawing halfway through. Sorry.
I like the drawing.
Oh, well, it gets a little boring because I constantly have to go from draw to erase to point versus spotlight to point. I'm like, poor people are looking at all this stuff on the screen. Does he really mean that circle? Where'd it go?
And I wonder if that's not loading because that was this morning's webinar. Maybe it's just
Oh,
wanting to.
you know
Oh,
what?
or
Well, let's
you're also
just try it
logged
again.
in to go to webinar right now.
Oh,
So
well, you
that
know, I
might be it
am.
too.
Oh, you know, yeah. If I'm logged in, it won't let me log in twice, will it?
There you go. All right, so that's where you're going to find it. You will see that. If you want to refresh that, they can see, as I'm trying to scroll up on my screen for you. It's like driving in the passenger seat.
Yeah, sorry about that. Let's get some of this stuff out of my way. We'll get there. We go. All
Oh, yes,
right.
and that was the new notice about the financial institutions, appraisers, and inspectors. The interpretation is they are now allowed to be out there working and doing business. Oh, and there you go. So there's your calendar right there.
You can see it?
I don't see the calendar itself, but I see Tuesday, March 31st.
Oh, there
There's
we
the 1
go.
to 3 p.m. Marketing with MarketStats.
There we are.
There you go. So that's just an easy shortcut for everybody to register to. And we are having a huge success with people registering for the webinars.
All right, well, good. And I hope you folks learned something new, something that is actually applicable to your business, something that you can use. Please do take the time to fill out, any of the polls and the feedback forms that GoToWebinar and Debbie may be sending here later, because we only want to bring you valuable information. And if the information's not working for you, it's not good for you, let us know that so we can adapt and serve you like we're supposed to. Debbie, have I
Yes,
missed anything?
I think we're good. So the webinar should launch, or the class survey should launch immediately after the webinar ends.
Okay, fantastic.
Wynn,
All
so
right.
glad you learned something new today. And again, we will have this one. It will be rendered and recorded and edited and uploaded to our YouTube page.
Wonderful. Thank you again, everyone, for attending. I know there was probably things you could have been doing A, around the house, or B, in other parts of your business. I really appreciate you taking the time out to add tools to your tool belt, sharpen your axe, stay involved, stay engaged. Um, Business isn't over, it's just changed a little bit. And I'm glad to see people are working to adapt to it. So thank you so very much. And Debbie, is there anything we need to add before I sign off?
I think we're good. Just don't forget to register for the upcoming webinars. Wednesday is Mixing It Up with My Real Source. It's a half-hour webinar. And Thursday afternoon is the virtual showings and virtual open houses, but with more in between. That's it. Excellent. Thank you very much, Chris. We learned so much about MarketStats today in your wonderful depth of knowledge on that program.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. And I wish everyone a wonderful and safe rest of the week.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody, for attending.